The Horus Heresy stands as the most defining moment in the history of the Warhammer 40k universe, a cataclysmic betrayal that nearly destroyed the Imperium of Man and altered the course of the galaxy forever. It is a tale of ambition, corruption, and the ultimate fall from grace, with one figure at its heart, the War Master Horus. In the early days of the Great Crusade, the Emperor of Mankind sought to unite the scattered human worlds under the banner of the Imperium. To achieve this, he created the Primarchs, 20 superhuman sons, each a demigod in their own right, and each leading a legion of Space Marines, the mightiest warriors in the galaxy. Among these Primarchs, Horus was the most beloved, the first to be found, and the one the Emperor trusted above all others. He was named War Master, the supreme commander of the Emperor's forces, a title that carried not only great power, but also a heavy burden. As the War Master, Horus was tasked with leading the Great Crusade in the Emperor's stead, as the Emperor himself returned to Terra to pursue secretive and vital projects. However, as Horus waged war across the stars, the seeds of his downfall were being sown. The forces of chaos, the malevolent gods of the warp, had long watched the Imperium's rise with envious eyes. They saw in Horus an opportunity, a chance to corrupt the Emperor's greatest son and bring about the Imperium's downfall from within. Horus's corruption began subtly. Wounded in battle on the planet Davin, he was taken to the Temple of the Serpent Lodge, where the local priests claimed they could heal him. It was here that Horus was exposed to the dark powers of chaos. In a fevered dream, he was shown visions of a future where the Emperor would become a god, and the Primarchs would be cast aside, forgotten and unloved. Twisting these visions to their advantage, the Chaos Gods preyed on Horus's pride and insecurities, convincing him that the Emperor had betrayed him, and that only by overthrowing him could the galaxy be saved. When Horus awoke, he was no longer the noble War Master who had once sworn loyalty to the Emperor. He had become the pawn of the Chaos Gods, driven by a burning desire to claim the galaxy for himself. He began to spread his newfound belief among his brothers, turning many of the Primarchs and their legions to his cause. The seeds of rebellion had been planted, and they soon blossomed into full-scale heresy. The Horus Heresy officially began with the Istvan III atrocity. Horus, now fully enthralled to chaos, ordered the culling of all loyalists within his own ranks. Space Marines who remained faithful to the Emperor were gathered on the planet Istvan III under the pretense of a new campaign, only to be betrayed and exterminated by their own brothers. The bloodbath marked the opening salvo of the heresy, and the galaxy was plunged into civil war. As the conflict spread, entire legions turned traitor, joining Horus in his bid to overthrow the Emperor. Among the most notorious of these were the World Eaters, led by the bloodthirsty Angron, the Death Guard, who succumbed to the plague-ridden embrace of Nurgle, and the Thousand Sons who fell to the dark sorcery of Tzeentch. These legions, once paragons of the Imperium, became twisted reflections of their former selves. Now known as the Chaos Space Marines, they would go on to wreak havoc across the stars. The climax of the heresy came at the Siege of Terra, where Horus launched a massive assault on the Imperial Palace itself. The fighting was brutal and unrelenting, with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. It was during this final confrontation that the Emperor, realizing that the fate of the galaxy rested on a single moment, teleported aboard Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit, for a final confrontation with his once beloved son. The battle between the Emperor and Horus was the stuff of legend. It was a clash of titanic forces, a struggle not just of physical might but of wills. Horus, empowered by the Dark Gods, fought with a ferocity and hatred that matched the Emperor's own determination to save humanity. But in the end, it was the Emperor who emerged victorious. Despite his love for Horus, he knew that his son was beyond redemption, and with a final devastating blow, He ended Horus's life. However, victory came at a terrible cost. The Emperor was mortally wounded in the battle, and though he succeeded in banishing Horus's soul to the warp, he was left crippled, forced to spend eternity on the Golden Throne, his body shattered but his mind still guiding the Imperium. The traitor legions, now fully corrupted, fled into the Eye of Terror, where they would regroup and continue their eternal war against the Imperium as the Chaos Space Marines. The Horus Heresy was over, but its legacy would haunt the galaxy for millennia. The Imperium was left scarred, its strength forever diminished, and the threat of chaos more potent than ever. The once glorious dream of the Emperor had turned into a grim reality, a galaxy of endless war, where hope and despair are eternally intertwined. And so the story of the Horus Heresy is not just a tale of betrayal and war, but a dark reminder of the fragility of hope and the ever-present shadow of corruption. It set the stage for the grim dark universe of Warhammer 40,000, where the Imperium continues to fight for its survival against the forces of chaos and countless other threats. But this is only the beginning. The heresy may have ended, but its echoes are felt to this day, as the sons of Horus and their traitorous kin continue their war against the Imperium, driven by the same dark powers that corrupted the War Master so long ago.